Nehemiah chapter 4. Since this is 5785 in the Hebrew, I'll just take the first 5 words. Tell your neighbor you'll never be free of it until you give it up. Stop looking for God to take it from you. You got to give it up. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 6, first 5 words. So built we the wall. So built we the wall. I want to talk to you from this subject. Tell your neighbor, this is my comeback. This is my comeback. You may be seated if you can. This is my comeback. I have a few announcements that I need to make to you for your consideration. Announcement number 1, this is a season of repair and restoration. This is a season of repair and restoration. This is a season of repair and restoration. The storm has ended. The struggle is over. The victory has been won. The Holy Ghost woke me up early Saturday morning, and he began to deal with me because we know how to go into a storm, but we don't know how to end it. And so many of the saints go from storm to storm to storm to storm, not physically, but mentally and emotionally. We never get a break because we never end the last one. And then we carry the feelings of the last storm into the current storm. We carry the thinking pattern of the last storm into the next storm. And so the next storm becomes too much. Nothing God allows you to go through is too much. Let's go on and correct that right here. Nothing God allows you to go through is too much. When you say this is too much for me, you're lying on God. When the enemy says to you, you can't take this, he's trying to get you to repeat his lie. Because if you can repeat it, you'll believe it. And if you'll believe it, you'll buckle under pressure that you're built to handle. Anything that God allows me to go through, he built me to deal with it. He built me to carry it. He built me to face it. He is not a God catching up with my trouble. He's a God that prepared me in the beginning for all of the trouble that I ain't got no church in here today, that I would ever go through. I cannot go through a situation that is able to break me. I'm trying to tell you, I cannot go through a pain or an agony or a disappointment or a letdown or an abandonment or a rejection that is able to destroy me because God built me for it if it comes my way. If I ain't built for it, it has to bypass me because he said, I'll put no more on you than you can. So why am I overwhelmed? Why I came to get you today. Why am I overwhelmed? Because I don't know how to end a storm. So I got to teach you how to end a storm. Anybody interested? Come now to the walls of Jericho. We're getting ready to go into the promised land. We're getting ready to go into the promised land. The first fight going into the promised land is Jericho. Jericho is shut up tight. They are defended completely. They are ready for you to come. They have built up the wall. The wall is as wide as a 2-3 lane highway. It's a huge wall. It is not a paper wall. It is not a man-built wall that you put up just to divide a room. No, it's an intentional wall to keep things, people, armies, and everything else out. Some people lived on the wall. They drove on the wall. Horses ran on the wall. They pulled chariots on the wall. The wall, the children of Israel are standing at a juncture of coming into what God promised them, and they run into a wall. The question now is, we don't have any weapons. We don't have no cannons. God didn't have us build cannons in the wilderness. So it seems like we're unprepared for what we're facing. Tell your neighbor, I feel unprepared for what I'm facing. I wasn't equipped for this. Yes, you were. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. I'm trying to preach, but they are mighty through God. So then if conventional warfare is not the answer, then it has to be spiritual. So how do I deal with this wall? God says, Joshua, tell the people to walk around the wall. One time, every day for 6 days. Walk around the wall. Walk around. Don't say a word. Be quiet and walk. Be quiet and walk. Be quiet and walk. This is not a small wall. This is a wall surrounding a city. So it looked like Joshua was making them exercise. Joshua is really teaching them how to breathe. Because if you don't know how to breathe, you're not going to be able to follow the instruction that's coming. So come, let's just walk. Be quiet. Don't say nothing. Just walk. I don't know why God got me doing this. This don't make no sense to me. Just tell me, just walk and shut up. Tell your neighbor, you got to know when to shut your mouth. You got too much commentary. You got too much to say. You got too many opinions. It is irrelevant right now. What God is doing in your life has nothing to do with what you think. Oh, y'all gonna make me come to you. What God is trying to bring you to has nothing to do with what you think. Stop thinking so much out your mouth. You're prolonging your process. You're elongating your struggle because everything come to your mind, come out your mouth. Will you shut up? Stop saying everything. Yeah, I know you're frustrated, and I know you're tired of saying it. Then stop saying it. know you're irritated, and I know it keeps happening, but stop saying it. Maybe it keeps happening because you keep creating it. Power of life is in your tongue, and maybe because you keep saying it, it keeps recycling. Maybe if you say something else, or just be, there's no sin in quietness. No. There's no sin in radio off, phone off, internet off, windows down, moonroof open, no noise but the wind. There is no sin in silence. But we have become afraid of silence because silence makes us hear our own mind. And we don't want to hear what we really think. We just want to say it. Because if we hear it, we have to change the thought because it don't make sense. It says, this is Jericho, it said, march around 6 times, 6 days, 1 time a day. Then on the 7th day, I want you to march around it 7 times. What are you doing? You're building up your breath. Because on the 7th time, I'm going to give you a signal, and we're going to end the battle before we fight it. You missed it. We're going to end the battle before we fight it. How are you going to do that? On the 7th time around, I'm going to give you a signal. When you hear the shofar, I want you to shout, for God hath given you the city. It doesn't make sense if you think about the instruction. Why would I shout at a fortified wall with people on the wall ready to fight? Because you're telling me God has given me what I have not even engaged yet. He said, shout. Shouting brings conclusion to the matter. When you shout over it, you announce to it, I win. We're going to shout in just a minute. When you shout, the army, a shouting army, is making an announcement, we're coming with victory. The shout was not for the people. The shout was for the wall. All right. How is the shout for the wall? Because the wall was fortified, not the people. The people were fearful. That's why they fortified the wall. Stop dealing with people when there are really walls in place. He said, and this ain't even the text. He says, shout when they shouted. It wasn't a, ooh. It wasn't a pantomime. They had to shout to the volume level that it busted eardrums. It had to pierce the ear. When they shouted, the wall began to internally break up. They couldn't see it because your victory is coming over something that is breaking up on the inside before it manifests the fall. Your problem is you stop praising God because you don't see no progress. You're not supposed to see the progress. The progress is happening internally. When you see anything happen, the wall is going to fall flat. It says, the reason you're overwhelmed, this is Saturday morning, about 8:02. The reason you're overwhelmed is because you won't shout. Shouting with your mouth alerts your soul that the thing you've been going through is over. Shouting with your mouth tells your mind we ain't got to think about this no more because we're bringing a conclusion to it. On 3, I need you to end it. 1, 2, 3. God has given you the city. God has given you the victory. God has given you. Now fight. Fight what's already finished in your mind. Don't you engage it until you see it ended. And when you shout, you're alerting it, I already won. And when it sees that you understand that you already won, it will bow down to you. The wall was not built to fight. The wall was built to resist. So when they came at the wall had no answer. It had no words. It had nothing but to obey. Because they messed up and didn't show up to the fight. They sent a problem. And the problem don't have a mouth. You do. Learn to end what you're getting ready to face before you face it. So while you're destroying it, it's already over. I'm fighting a fixed fight. Don't make me bring the WWE into this. We already know who's going to win. We just acting out the battle for your entertainment. There is no question of whether I'm going to win or not. Hold up. Ain't no wondering of how I'm coming out. I know I'm coming out with the V, with the W. I already know that. The question is, how am I going into it? It says, tell them you got to learn how to end it. When you shout, you release the pressure of the warfare. When you shout, you release the attitude of battle. Some of you maintain battle attitude in peacetime. You ain't dealing with nothing, but you still got a fight attitude. And we trying to figure out what's wrong with you. It's because you're stuck emotionally in a place you're no longer in. It doesn't match. It don't make sense. Why are you mad in a time where you just got blessed? Why are you attitudinal in a moment where you just got a breakthrough? You're stuck emotionally and mentally in a place because you didn't shout. Tell your neighbor, they're going to have to lock me up because I'm just going to be shouting. Shouting is not what you do with your feet. Shouting is what you do with your mouth. I'm going to open my mouth and shout. I'm going in the bathroom in the handicap stall, and I'm going to open my mouth and shout. I'm going to go get in my car, shut the door, let up all the windows, and shout and come back in and win the victory. I will not go through a struggle that I'm not already persuaded I win. So the shouting is to help also persuade myself. When I finish shouting, I go back to the walls and say, did. I go back to the wall and say, all right, you ready to fall? The wall says, yes, sir. I said, come on down. Wall says, yes, sir. Because once I shout, I ain't got to do it no more. If I shout, I ain't got to shout at you. If I shout to God, I ain't got to go off on you. If I shout to God, I ain't got to cuss you out. If I relieve the pressure. Warfare is pressure. Warfare is an attitude. It's intensity. It is a disposition. But when you shout, you relieve yourself. It's like you turn on the valve that releases the pressure. Damage has been assessed. Payments are being released. Tell your neighbor, checks are in the mail. Damage has been assessed. Payments are being released. It's time to get things back to their proper functioning. I hope you hear me today because I'm almost there. This is the hour of correction. This is the hour of recalculation. This is the hour of recalibration. This is the hour of confidence restoration. We've been in hyper mode, and God is calling us back to standard operating. We've been in hyper mode. We're so hyper, we're looking for a problem. We're waiting on an issue. We're saying things like it's getting too good now. Something got to break. Something got to go wrong because it's been 2 days and I ain't had no bad news. We're still in hyper when God says, will you enjoy peacetime? Will you settle down and chill out, please? Because I didn't call you to 24-hour, 7-day-a-week warfare. In fact, didn't I tell you the battle wasn't yours anyway? That the battle was mine? So why are you so charged in warfare and not charged in prayer? Why aren't you charged in your praise like you're charged in your attitude? In fact, you'll step out of your attitude, do 2 steps, and go right back into it. God says, come back to standard operating procedures. Joel 2:25, you know it very well. And I will restore unto you the years that the cankerworm, the caterpillar, the locust, my great army that I sent. I will restore the years that they have eaten and taken away. Now, I've preached this many times, and I told you God was going to give you time back. God's going to give you years back. But can we go a little deeper on this? What if God says, not only will I give you time back, but I'm going to give back the years or correct the effects of those years on you? He says, what I'm going to do is heal you from the effects of those years. When you had to deal with cankerworms and caterpillars and locusts and the stuff I sent for you to go through. He said, what if I'm telling you I'm not going to give you time back as much as I'm going to give you wholeness back? I'm going to restore your mind. I'm going to restore your heart. I'm going to put your heart back together. I know your heart was broken and I needed it broken because with a broken heart and a contrite spirit, there's some things I can do with you, but I don't intend for you to be brokenhearted for your entirety in kingdom. I intend to heal your broken heart. I got out of you what I needed to get out of you. Now I'm ready to mend you back together again. I got out of you what I wanted to get out. Now I'm ready to remember or put you back together. What God broke, God can fix. Get your delivery right quick. Look at your neighbor and say, you didn't break me. God did it. He just used you to help. You didn't break me down. It was God that allowed it. Because you can't get oil out of the olive until you crush it. I had to go through Gethsemane. I didn't want to go. I tried not to go. I took my closest people to go with me, and they fell asleep while I was there. I was all by myself, and I didn't want to be there, but it was necessary for me to go through that crushing so the cross wouldn't crush me. God is allowing your crushing in anonymity, all by yourself, so that when you have to hang in public, it won't crush you. If Jesus had not gone back to Gethsemane, Golgotha would have crushed him. He'd have snapped on that cross. He'd have been like, oh, I know you. Because if you really know Jesus, if you really study him, he was a little sarcastic. He was, I know you don't want me to talk about your Jesus, but he was quick. He was witty, excuse me. He was very witty, and he could say some stuff that'd just make you like, that's what you're going to say? He didn't answer things directly. He just made you look stupid. Should we pay tithes or taxes? Show me your money. Show him the money and say, well, whose face is on there? Then render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and unto God what is God's. And he exited. And they were sitting there like, this joker right here, for real? That's what you're going to say? You're not going to answer my question? You're going to bring me back to have to evaluate for myself? Jesus was something else. Says you got to get to a place where you don't react in the place that your reaction will destroy you, but react in the place that has been created to save you. If I act stupid in the secret place, I can get the stupidity out of me. But I cannot be comfortable enough to snap in the secret place and in the public place. I should have gotten it out. Says, I gave you that job, and you acting stupid. I told you to shout Sunday so you wouldn't go off Monday. But you want to sit there with your lips tight because you don't feel like hollering like you got a live recording to do this afternoon. Anybody listening to you anyway? You don't talk, you tight. So why you can't shout? Because I don't just do it because the preachers say do it. That's why you're stuck and bound. Because you don't follow. Obey his word, and so shall you be obey his prophets, and so shall ye increase, advance, progress. Tell your neighbor, we're going to have one more time to shout. And we better all do it, or we'll have no business being envious of each other. Because all the shouters coming out. You waiting on it. I said all the shouters are coming out. All the shouters are coming out. The quiet people gonna stay in it, but the shout. After Babylonian captivity, Tell your neighbor, I just saw myself out. I just saw myself on the other side. I just got a glimpse of me beyond this issue. I just saw myself in a place called victory. If you can't see it, you'll never have it. I see me and my children at Disney World. If you can't see it, you can't have it. I see my promotion. Wait a minute, I'm at work with a suit on. Is that a Maybach I'm driving? I saw it. I didn't create it, I saw it. In fact, I'm going to the text. What do you see? No, be honest and be real just for a minute. What do you see about yourself? I know what you see because of what you say. And you always talking your trouble, your struggle, and your defeat. Because that's all you see, and that's why that's all you get. But what if we start saying stuff like, oh, I see myself coming out. I know we call it church jargon, but what if you really say, oh, I'm blessed of the Lord and highly favored? What if I'm not just saying it because I'm churchy, but that's because what I really see. I really see that I'm blessed of the Lord and highly favored. I really see that God is good. I'm not going to let you take my confession of faith, and because you call it church jargon, I'm going to stop saying it. You out of your mind. I know Fred recorded it in the 90s, but I'm still blessed. In the city. It can't be old because it's the word of God, and the word of God don't age. So I'm still singing it. Everybody say bless. Everybody say bless. Everybody say bless. We're blessed, we're blessed, we're blessed. This is how the saints talk. Sickness and poverty, but the devil is defeated. That's it. That's how we talk. That's how we don't get mad at me. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. This is how we talk. This is how I get down. Will you just be real, baby? I am being as real as I can be. Because my storm has come to pass. It didn't come to stay. So my reality is my faith. Let's go to the text now. Babylonian captivity is ending. Babylonian captivity is ending Whatever has had you bound, it's ending. Whatever has had you locked up, it's ending. Whatever has had you detached, it's ending. Whatever has had you in a place and in a space, it's ending. God is raising up a Cyrus to make a declaration. You're free to go back and rebuild. You're free to build it up again. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to live here. You're in a foreign land. You're in an emotionally foreign land. You're in a psychologically foreign land. You can leave this place and go back to where you belong and build again. Cyrus says, go back to church and build again. For those of you who still stuck in COVID, Cyrus said, go back to church. Well, you know, COVID coming back. You a lie. It never left. I just gained power over it. See, I went through it, and I built up the antibodies to resist it. The only reason I still get it is because I never went through it. So I don't have to fear it anymore because I got power over it. My blood says no more. The blood says no more. Let's go to the house. I'm ready. So here we are, 2024, October, rebuilding after destruction. They broke your heart. They wounded your faith. They made you question God and his existence and his love. They made you doubt the purpose of the church. So you stopped coming. They did all that because that one fell and that one fell. And you started making them the model of Christ. And because that one fell and that one fell, all this can't be real. Because if it was so real, it would keep them. Well, he keeps who want to be kept. And the truth of the matter is, we all get to places where we don't want to be kept. Lord, let me fall. Just pick me up again. Sometimes the consequence of being picked up again is you have to re-begin. You have to start over again. So here they are coming back. When they left, it was a beautiful temple. When they come back, it crumbles. The city is destroyed. The temple is destroyed. What are we going to do with this? Rebuild. What are we going to do with this? Put it back up. So Nehemiah says, hey, let's get to work. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. How are we going to rebuild in October what was broken in August? September 2019. How are we going to build that? It'll make you look at it and be like, I don't feel like it. I'll just go back to Babylon and survive. I just go back. Cyrus is cool. He ain't going to hound us. We're not enslaved, even though we don't have our own. And that's the mentality of poverty. I don't have to have my own. Just let me be comfortable in what they give me. So I'll pay $2,000 a month for an apartment. Because I'm scared to own a house. Because what I own, I'm responsible for. Let me help you. I just had to buy an HVAC system. I just had to, yeah, I just had to get my gutters redone. Because I own it. I couldn't call the office and say, send somebody. But you know what else? Can't nobody put me out. I got some erosion issues. And I just called a hardscaper. Some of y'all don't even know what a hardscaper is. Come out and rebuild the dirt. You got to rebuild the red and then rebuild the topsoil and then put on top of that a covering. He said, and the reason it got like this is because the covering came off. And when the covering came off, the rain destroyed the rest. Tell your neighbor, maybe your problem is your covering has come off. You ain't got no covering. You think it's decoration. That ain't decoration. That's protection. I said, so he looked at my front yard. He said, you see all these roots exposed? He said, you need to build up your red dirt, and then you need to build up your black dirt, topsoil, in case you want to plant anything. Because red don't reproduce. But topsoil will receive your seed and produce you a harvest. He said, but on top of your topsoil, you need a landscaping. You need some bricks or some stone, or you need some birch or wood or something to cover it. He said, it looks like decoration. And so when it fades away, because you got to renew your covering every so often. He said, when it fades away, you think it's just not pretty. But the reality is when it fades, you're unprotected. And that's why you have erosion. Tell your neighbor, I don't care who you are. You're not going to like me. Apostles need pastors. Prophets need pastors. Evangelists need pastors. Teachers need pastors. Watch this. Pastors need pastors. Everybody needs a covering. I asked him, what's wrong with my gutters? He said, how long you been here? I said, I built it in 2007. He said, that's 17 years. He said, how much maintenance have you had? I said, none. He said, oh, well, most people get their gutters cleaned twice a year. Say $300 a cleaning, that's $600. Multiply 600 times 17. So I had to pay $9,000 to get my gutters done properly. He said they're in great condition because you had your roof done. So that was good because you should have been paying $20,000. Why? Because I never maintained my covering. So when the water ran off the roof, water was just dropping on the side of my house. And I'm trying to figure out if I got gutters, why does water dropping? But I ignored it because I didn't feel like paying the price. But the longer I didn't pay the price, the worse the problem got, and the more expensive it became when I decided. I'm going, so built we the wall. Restoration after breakdown. The breakdown is over. God, I got to wait to December to say this, but I'll say it again, act like you didn't hear it. 2024 was the year that Satanas Diablos, Satan the devil, designated for your complete annihilation and destruction. He set up 2024 to take you out. He set it up to where you would get hit so many different ways at one time. He set it up where you would lose spirit, you would lose energy, passion, you would not care about caring, it wouldn't matter no more. He set it up to where you would be so inundated with garbage and intervening variables and junk that you would just say, you know what, F it all, forget it. That's the F word I was talking about. Forget it all. I'm done. I quit. Y'all can have it. You can have church. You can have God. You can have praise. You can have jumping and shouting. You can have a choir. You can have the ushers. You can have a praise team. You can have it and do what you want to do with it, because I'm sick of all of it. The devil set it up this year that you would lose your spiritual mind, but some kind of way it's the second Sunday in October and I'm still here. Admit it. It's been a hell of a year. It should have broken me. I ain't never seen nothing like 2024. It was full of instability, insecurity, things up and down, roller coaster. I'm blessed, then I'm cursed. I'm happy, then I'm miserable. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. It challenged everything I knew about God. It caused me to really see if I had faith or if I had fake. I had to examine what I really believe about God, because I got to a few places where I was done. I love him, but I was going to love him from a 9 to 5. I love him, but I was going to love him outside of these walls. Y'all can turn it into a romper room if you want to. It was designed, and 2024 was to break down everything that needed to be broken. I need you to shout one more time in just a second when I say this, because everything that should have been broken and was supposed to be broken broke. God delivered you from something breaking when it was too inconvenient. He delivered you from something breaking when you was totally depending on it. He broke it when it should have been broken so that you can put your confidence and trust in the right place. He saved me, even though it hurt me to my core. He delivered me in time, even though I never expected it. He said, I love you enough to get you out of it before it crashes. And he got you out. And you thought they fired you. God delivered you. You thought they walked away from you. God delivered you. You thought you were the reason they left. God was the reason they left, because where they're on their way to, you can't be part, party, nor participant to. God says, while the devil was trying to destroy you in 2024, I was delivering you. I'm going to the house. And I was delivering you because I have a 2025 for you.
Okay.
He said,
I just want him to be happy and stop
Yes.
after Exodus comes a Numbers, but before Exodus comes a Genesis. How do I get a beginning and then a come out? And then 64 more books to go through. You brought me out in the beginning. Exodus does not come after Revelation. Exodus comes after Genesis. He's not waiting until the end to get me out. He got me out as soon as I got into it. He says, I don't deliver you when you feel delivered. I deliver you when I say you're delivered. It takes your feelings 30 years to catch up. Deliverance is not an experience, it's a command. It's not an emotion, it's a command. That means when God said you're delivered, everything you needed to be delivered from walked away from you. The real deliverance that's left is for you to let it go. So how do we rebuild? Tell your neighbor, I'm rebuilding. I'm rebuilding. How do we rebuild? Number one, I'm in a text and I'm going to the house. Number one, you got to surround yourself with rebuilders. The text says, so we built. That means everybody in my circle was doing the same thing. I got too many people in my circle that are still thinking about Babylon. I got too many people that's on their way back. So my circle is not in agreement with what my decision is. Hence, I'm held back by who I hang around. Because while I should be building, I'm trying to convince. This is not the time to convince people. This is the time to rebuild. And if you don't want to rebuild, may the Lord watch. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. I don't have to cuss you. We don't have to fall out. We'll just bless each other in parting, because I got to go and do what I need to do to secure where I'm going. So may the Lord watch, because I need people around me now who are in the mindset to rebuild. I need people around me now. Deliver me, God, from people who refuse to shift with the season. Deliver me, God, from people who choose to be stuck in what is over. Give me somebody in the press. Somebody shout, I press, I press. Give me somebody that's pressing forward. Give me somebody that's taking opposition and driving anyhow. Give me somebody in my life with the spirit of drive and go forward. This season requires the right company, righteous companions, and relevant communication. I said this season right here, it requires right company, righteous companions, and relevant communication. Get away from me if you don't want to go forward. I got to rebuild. I've been broken. I'm tired of brokenness. It's time to rebuild. I've been let down. I'm tired of down. It's time to climb up out of this cave. It's time to climb up out of this. I've been here too long. It's time for me to climb. I'm strong now. I was weak, but now I'm strong. And if I'm strong, why don't I climb? Because I put a TV in the cave and I got a couch in the cave and I built up some dirt and I made myself comfortable in my cave. I'm not living in the comfortable places anymore. I'm coming up out of it. I need to surround myself with people who will rebuild, who have a mind to rebuild. Secondly, I need to settle myself in rebuild mode. So built we. I need to settle myself that I am not in fight mode. I'm not in war mode. I'm not in any other mode but rebuild. My whole mindset is set to rebuild. Now that you've released the pressure of your past season in the shout, somebody may need to shout again. I don't know. Dedicate yourself and your attitude and your heart to rebuilding. Make up in your mind that all I'm doing now is rebuilding. If it survived, it's getting rebuilt. If it made it through the storm, it's getting rebuilt. And if I can't rebuild it, God's going to replace it. But all I know is everything around me got to come up. I got to come up, and everything around me got to come up. It's got to come up. I'm tired. I can't do it no more. I can't make it like this. I'm not going to survive like this. Everything got to come up. If you're going to be connected to me, you got to act the way I act. We got to be in agreement. We got to be in unison. It's got to be a we and not a I and a I. Because as long as I is trying to be I, there can be no we in the I. And if there can be no we, then there can be no agreement. And if there can be no agreement, there can be no God. Because he said, where two are gathered together, there am I in the midst of them. Where two come into agreement, there is three. I need to get my mind right now. Let me refocus my mind. I'm not fighting now. My enemy is destroyed. My victory is won. I'm rebuilding. I'm rebuilding. What are you rebuilding? I'm rebuilding my peace. I'm rebuilding my joy. I'm refreshing my love. I'm rebuilding my patience. I'm sowing unto myself in righteousness, and I'm reaping in mercy. I'm restoring right standing in all relationships. Every relationship in my life got to come correct. It's got to come in right standing because I'm rebuilding. I'm reviving and revitalizing my praise. I'm putting my praise back together. I've reduced my praise to a and I got to get it back. I got to build it back. I got to build my dance back. Give me a mirror. Let me build my dance back. Let me see what I'm going to add. Let me add something to my dance. I got to rebuild it. Tap your neighbor and say, build it again. Build it again. He said, forget about what's happened. Don't keep going over history. Be alert. Be present. I'm in Isaiah 43:19. Be alert and be present. I'm about to do something brand new. Elbow your neighbor and say, neighbor, God is about to do something brand new in your life. You ain't never seen what God's getting ready to do. You ain't never seen what God's getting ready to manifest. You ain't never seen what God's getting ready to bring to pass. But I need you to show up in your right now. Get out of your mind. Get out of your history. Get out of yesterday. Get out of your feelings. Get out of your emotions. Get your mind on Jesus and show up right now, because in your present there exists faith. For now faith is now. I said now faith is now. You can't have faith until you show up in your now. Tell your neighbor, I've been living in my last season. It's been so long that I can't even see myself in a better place. But today I resign from my last season. Today I turn in my notice that in 2 weeks you're going to discover that I ain't been in this season for 2 weeks, because I'm coming out today. I'm making up in my mind things are not the way they used to be, and they'll never be again what they have been, because God is doing a new thing. God is bringing me up and he's bringing me out. He's got a purpose for my life, and I will not live wandering around in the wilderness. I'm coming out of this wilderness. I'm coming out of this wilderness. Jericho, get ready to fall, 'cause I'm tell him, forget about what's happened. Don't keep going over the old thing. I know it keeps happening because you keep thinking about it. And because you keep thinking about it, you keep talking about it. And because you keep talking about it, you keep recreating it. But put your mind on whatsoever things are lovely. Put your mind on whatsoever things are pure. Put your mind on whatsoever things are of a good report, and put a praise on it. I gotta go. You got to surround yourself with repairers. You gotta settle yourself in rebuild mode. Good evening now, y'all. You gotta secure yourself in praise. Make up your mind. My response from here on out is gonna be hallelujah. Anyhow, my response from here on out is going to be bless your name. Anyhow, my reaction from here on out is going to be the lifting of my hand. My reaction from here on out, I'm done going off. I'm done being mad. I'm done being offended. I'm done being weak. I'm done being managed by your behavior. I'll make up in my mind that from here on out, while I'm rebuilding, I'm praising. While I'm rebuilding, I'm singing. While I'm rebuilding, I'm taking a dance break. While I'm rebuilding, I'll give him glory. While I'm rebuilding, I'm going to bless his name. Now tap your neighbor and say, neighbor, oh, come here, Bishop Hall. Oh, neighbor, while I'm rebuilding, my feet are going to move, my hands are going to clap, my mouth is going to shout, my shoulders are going to move, my spirit is going to quicken. While I'm rebuilding, I'm going to give him glory. And as long as I'm praising him, the devil can't find me. As long as I'm in praise, the war can't get to me. The dart won't hit me. The fire won't burn me. The water won't drown me. Because I've settled in a place called praise. So if you want to make me mad, watch me praise. If you want to get on my nerves, watch me praise. If you want me to get an attitude, watch me speak in tongues. Because go to your emotional closet and put on your garment of praise. I need you to go to your mental file storage and pull up the window of praise. I need you to go to your attitude storage unit and pull out your behavior of praise. This praise is not focused on what he's done. I'm not praising him right now for what he's done. This praise is not directed as what he's going to do. But this praise is dedicated to what I need to put me back together again. I will not live in a broken state. I will not operate not another day on the edge of go off. So what I'm gonna do is retch in my closet. That's my complaining garment. Move that over. That's my gotten on my nerves garment. Move that over. There it is. Get my praise jacket. Let me put on my praise jacket. Let me pull up the file that says bless him. And let me go through my season of rebuilding, dancing, shouting, and praising God. That's the only way I'm gonna make it. I need you to help me close this sermon. I need you to shout one more time. And when your mouth get done, let your feet begin. It's over. The storm is over. The battle is over. Victory is won. You've announced to yourself, I win. And now all I gotta do is fight it and conquer it. Now all I gotta do